The backroads of Texas have always carried a mysterious reputation. Miles of desolate stretches, fields spreading on either side, rows of dried trees here and there, and at night, a silence so sharp it cuts through the soul. Locals often say that in the daytime these roads seem normal, but as soon as the sun sets, a weight descends upon them, something that words can't fully explain. One such incident took place in 1998 when a young girl mysteriously disappeared while traveling on these backroads. Her name was Emily Carter. Emily was only 19 years old and studied at a college near Austin. She was cheerful, sensitive, and adventurous. Her parents often said Emily always sought thrill, whether it was trying out a new backroad or exploring an old, abandoned place. But perhaps that same curiosity one night became the reason she was forever trapped by those backroads. Emily's story begins the night she was returning home after meeting some friends. As usual, instead of taking the highway, she chose a shortcut through a backroad. Phone records show she made her last call to a friend at 11:47 p.m. During that call, she said, "This road is so deserted, but I'll be home soon." After that, her phone went silent. The next morning, when her parents found her bed empty, panic set in. The police were informed, and a search began. But the strange part was, Emily's car was found abandoned on a lonely backroad. The car door was open, her purse and phone were still inside, but Emily was gone. The most chilling detail was in the dirt outside the car, marks that circled around it. But they weren't human footprints. They were wider, unclear, and disturbingly strange. Some villagers claimed they heard a girl screaming from the nearby fields that night. But when they rushed there, they found nothing, just darkness and the sound of the wind. Police searched day and night, even using helicopters and drones, but Emily had vanished as if swallowed by the earth. Local legends say these backroads are haunted by a restless spirit. In the late 1800s, a family lived there who were murdered by bandits. It is said their souls still wander, seeking justice. Some believe Emily encountered them that night. Another terrifying detail was found near Emily's car. On the inside of the windshield, there were long, scratch-like streaks, as if someone had dragged sharp nails across it again and again. But the forensic team confirmed they didn't match Emily's nails. They were longer, sharper. According to investigators, this case remains the most disturbing of their careers. No evidence ever fully explained what happened, yet everything pointed towards something unseen, lurking in the shadows. Emily has never been found, but locals still speed up whenever they drive past that stretch of road. Many drivers claim to see a girl standing in the middle of the road at night, dressed in white, hair covering her face, but when they get close, she vanishes. Some even say when they look into their rearview mirror, the same girl is sitting in the back seat, smiling. This wasn't just a disappearance. It was a reminder of a curse. And Emily's story still whispers the dark truth of those Texas backroads. Emily Carter's disappearance forever changed the atmosphere of that small Texas town. Locals who once thought nothing of traveling the backroads late at night began locking their doors as soon as the sun went down. After Emily's car was discovered, the police combed every inch of the area, but no trace of a living person or a body was ever found. 2 weeks later, another chilling event occurred. A truck driver claimed that late one night, on that very same road, he saw a young girl waving at him. He slowed his vehicle, but as he approached, the girl vanished into the beam of his headlights. According to the driver, at that exact moment, his radio switched on by itself, emitting strange whispers. Terrified, he turned his truck around, sped back to the highway, and reported the incident to police. The police dismissed it as a hallucination, but for the villagers, it was yet another sign that Emily was no longer of this world. She had become part of the road itself. Emily's friends often spoke about her. One of them said, Emily loved wandering those back roads at night. She used to say they felt like a doorway to another world. This statement unsettled many because old local legends had long claimed those back roads were boundaries, a thin line between this world and the next. That a year later, Emily's parents decided to place a small cross and her photo by the side of the road in her memory. The local church priest recited a prayer, but as soon as it ended, a sudden gust of wind swept through, and Emily's picture fell, sinking halfway into the dirt. Several witnesses claimed they heard a faint scream at that moment. Days later, the cross was found broken, as if someone or something had deliberately snapped it. Heartbroken, Emily's parents vowed never to return to that spot, but the story didn't end there. In 2005, another incident shook the area. A young couple was returning from a picnic and decided to take the shortcut through the same back road. It was around 1 a.m. when they saw a girl sitting in the middle of the road. They stopped the car, but as they got closer, the engine suddenly died. According to them, the air grew unnaturally cold, as if the atmosphere itself was being drained. The girl slowly lifted her head, and they saw her face. It was Emily. But her eyes were hollow, drained of any light. Terrified, they tried starting the car, and when the engine finally roared to life and the vehicle moved, the girl vanished into the mist. The next day, they reported it to the police, but once again, there was no evidence. To this day, that place is known as Emily Carter Point. Drivers often speed up when approaching it, and many refuse to walk there at night. Local teenagers treat it like a ritual. If you stand there at midnight and call Emily's name 3 times, handprints will appear on your car windows. The most frightening claims are from drivers who say that if they see Emily but don't stop, within a few miles they end up in accidents. In several cases, those crashes turn fatal. Police chalk them up to coincidence, but the townspeople believe it is Emily's spirit demanding justice. And no matter how old the story gets, its terror remains fresh. And those Texas backroads where Emily disappeared still serve as a reminder. Some doors are not meant to be opened. Story number 2. The Haunted Highway 281 of Texas. Highway 281, stretching across the land of Texas, looks like an ordinary road. During the day, it seems completely normal. Truck drivers, farmers, and tourists travel it regularly. But as soon as the sun sets and darkness spreads, an eerie silence descends upon it. People know it as the Phantom Highway because at night strange apparitions and phenomena have been witnessed here, things beyond human understanding. The story begins in 1998 when a family was returning from vacation. Inside the car were a couple and their 2 children. Everything was fine until around 2 a.m. when their car suddenly stopped. The fuel tank was full, the battery was new, yet the car felt as though it had been seized by an unseen hand. The father stepped out to check the engine, when suddenly in the distance he saw a red light, like the tail light of a motorcycle. But the strange thing was the light wasn't moving. Slowly, it began to approach them. As it drew near, they realized there was no motorcycle, only a hazy shadow with a flickering red glow. The children began crying uncontrollably. Suddenly, the car radio switched on by itself and started playing an old Spanish song. No one in the family spoke Spanish, but the mother later testified that in between the music, a woman's whispering voice said, "Leave, this place is not yours." Terrified, the father tried starting the car again, and to his shock, it roared to life immediately. They sped away and swore never to travel that road again. But that incident was only the beginning. Over the years, dozens of reports surfaced. Some claim to have seen the headless rider, who races along the highway past midnight and suddenly vanishes. Others reported being chased by an old black car that tailgated them at high speed. But as soon as they reached the main road, the car dissolved into thin air. The most shocking case happened in 2007. A university student was driving home late at night with his friend. He claimed a woman in a white dress appeared in the middle of the road. He hit the brakes, but the car slammed into something invisible, as if colliding with a wall. When he regained consciousness, his friend was gone from the vehicle. Police searched, but the girl was never found. To this day, the case remains open. According to locals, that woman is believed to be La Loma, a spirit tied to a Mexican family murdered there in the 1800s. They say the woman and her children were killed on that highway, and now her spirit lures strangers to share her fate. Another terrifying phenomenon occurs when traveling the road at night. Handprints appear on the car windows, as if someone is desperately trying to claw their way inside. Some drivers have even claimed that when they are alone, they feel someone sitting silently in the back seat. Many times, GPS and phone signals suddenly vanish. As soon as vehicles enter the boundaries of the highway, cell service cuts off and compasses begin pointing in the wrong direction. Police have investigated repeatedly, but never proved anything. Each time, the events were dismissed as hallucinations or driver fatigue. But the locals know the truth is far darker. Today, this highway is still considered one of the most haunted roads in Texas. People say that if you really want to test your courage, go there at 3 a.m., turn off your car, and stand in the middle of the road for a few minutes. But most never dare, because those who do often come back changed, with a fear in their eyes that never fades. Story number 3. The Bloody Bridge of Denton County, Texas. In Denton County, Texas, there's an old bridge that locals call the Bloody Bridge. During the day, it looks completely ordinary, but once night falls, the atmosphere changes. People who have been there say they've witnessed things so disturbing that their voices tremble when they recount them. The story begins back in the 1960s, when a high school couple was driving home after their prom night. As they crossed the bridge, their car suddenly stalled. The boy stepped out to check the engine, while the girl stayed inside. A few moments later, she heard a strange sound, like a stone splashing in water. Then came another noise, like chains being dragged across the ground. She opened the car door and was about to step out when something dripped from above. It was blood. Terrified, she looked up, only to see her boyfriend's body hanging upside down, as if someone had strung him up. That girl's scream is said to still echo in the dreams of many. When police later arrived, they found the girl half unconscious, but the boy had completely vanished. From that day on, the bridge became a symbol of fear. Over the years, dozens of people have claimed that their cars mysteriously stall on the bridge at night. Some said they saw what looked like blood stains appear on their car hoods, only for them to vanish moments later. Others reported bloody handprints smeared across their car windows. The most terrifying incident happened in 1984, when a truck driver told police he saw a young woman in a white dress standing in the middle of the bridge. He stopped, and when he rolled his window down, the girl transformed into a pool of blood that seeped into the cracks of the bridge. The driver was so horrified that he lost his sanity and spent months in a hospital. Locals believe the bridge is haunted by the spirit of a serial killer who preyed on young couples in the 1950s and 60s. It is said he brought them to this bridge, murdered them, and dumped their bodies into the nearby river. While police never officially recovered bodies, human bones were discovered scattered along the riverbank. According to legend, if someone parks their car on the bridge at midnight and honks the horn, they'll hear the rattling of chains in the darkness. Some even claim that unseen hands have attacked their vehicles, leaving scratch marks on the paint. Once, a group of college students dared to spend the night on the bridge. They swore they heard someone calling their names, even though no one else was there. One of the boys reported feeling a firm hand grip his shoulder. The next morning, bruises appeared on his skin, as if someone had grabbed him tightly. To this day, the Bloody Bridge remains a place of terror. Locals warn their children never to go near it after sundown. Yet, thrill-seeking youths still test their courage there. Some return unscathed, but others experience things that haunt them for the rest of their lives. Story number 4. The Dark Church of Highway 87, Texas. Drivers traveling along Highway 87 in Texas often notice an old, decaying building that, from the outside, looks like an ordinary church. During the day, it appears deserted and silent, but at night, it transforms into a symbol of fear. Locals call it the Dark Church. The story goes back to the 1930s. Rumors spread that the church's pastor was involved in satanic rituals. Locals lodged complaints multiple times, but no evidence was ever found. Then one night, the church mysteriously caught fire. The flames were so intense that the entire building was reduced to ashes. Yet strangely, the pastor's body was never recovered. Some believe he burned alive, while others insist he gave his soul to the devil and still wanders the ruins to this day. In the 1950s, several drivers reported hearing singing coming from inside the burned church late at night. But whenever they stopped and pushed the doors open, they found nothing inside, only ashes and charred beams. Then, in 1967, a chilling incident shook the area. Three friends were driving down the highway at night when they saw a light glowing inside the church. Curious, they entered. Inside, they discovered a long table scattered with torn Bible pages and strange symbols carved into the walls. Suddenly, one of the friends collapsed to the ground, screaming as if something had seized him. The other two dragged him out, but his body bore burn marks, like he had been seared with a hot iron rod. That man was never the same again. For the rest of his life, he muttered one haunting phrase: "He's watching us. He'll never let us go." Even today, locals say if you stand at the church doors at midnight and ring the bell 3 times, you'll hear footsteps approaching from inside. Some claim they've seen a shadow standing at the altar, slowly advancing toward them. Drivers also report strange malfunctions near the church. Engines stall without warning. Radios emit eerie whispers that sound like someone calling their name, and dark handprints appear on windshields out of nowhere to this day. The dark church remains a symbol of terror for locals. Few dare to go near it, but every so often, thrill-seeking youths test their courage by entering. Some return, shaken but alive. Others, what happens to them remains a mystery. Story number 5. The Shadow Man of Marfa Road, Texas. In the western part of Texas, there lies a long, desolate stretch of road known as Marfa Road. During the day, it seems quiet and empty, but as soon as the sun sets, a horrifying legend awakens, one that has claimed many lives. Locals call it the story of the Shadow Man. They say that if you drive along this road after midnight, you will see a tall, dark figure standing in the distance. At first, it looks like an ordinary man, but the closer you get, the larger and darker the figure becomes, until it towers over the entire road. The first reported incident happened in 1972, when a truck driver's body was found on the side of Marfa Road. His eyes were wide open, his face frozen in terror, as if he had seen death itself. Strangely, there were no wounds or injuries on his body, but his heart had simply stopped. Police ruled it a heart attack, but locals insisted it was the work of the shadow. In the 1980s, a college student was driving alone late at night. On the phone with his friends, he mentioned that it felt like someone was sitting in the back seat with him, though he was completely alone. Moments after the call ended, his car was discovered parked on the roadside. The door was open, the engine still running, but the boy had vanished without a trace. He was never found. The most chilling account came in 1999. A family was traveling in their van when the driver reported that a tall, black shadow suddenly appeared in front of them. He tried to brake, but the van stalled completely. The children began to cry, and his wife screamed that she saw a shadowy figure sitting in the back seat. Within moments, the darkness spread across the van's windows, swallowing everything in pitch black. Then, just as suddenly, the light returned and the van restarted. But their youngest son's eyes had turned completely white, as though he had witnessed something no human should ever see. Locals in Marfa claim the Shadow Man is actually the cursed spirit of a criminal who was hanged in the 1800s. He had been guilty of several murders, and before dying, he cursed the land. "My soul will never rest. I will haunt these roads forever." Even today, strange things continue to happen along Marfa Road. Drivers report their headlights suddenly shutting off, GPS systems going haywire, and shadows lingering in their rearview mirrors, watching every move. The most dangerous dare is something locals call the shadow ritual. Teenagers often bet each other to stop their car in the middle of Marfa Road at midnight, step outside, and say 3 times, "I'm not afraid of you." Many claim the Shadow Man appears in response. Some return shaken but alive, while others disappear forever. One local police officer once said, "I've served for 20 years, but the accidents on Marfa Road never feel normal. People vanish, or their bodies are found in conditions that defy explanation." Even now, Marfa Road is feared. Most drivers refuse to travel it past midnight. Those who do know it may be their final journey.